Once, we waited for an hour to get a coat, and then they drove us to the kitchen. And so that was came, and by this time it was 1 o'clock, and I go, I don't realize that people were closed. Well, I think I know from the feed, I guess, yeah. I just. Yeah, so it's very expensive, and I'm looking at it, and so, all right, it's 12, that's probably gonna be. When is it gonna have your sorts? So. Yeah, so there's committee of the whole. No, it should be on the farm. I don't see it, she always may be on that. You know, once you know, stop waiting people up. Yeah, that's why do you look in office? Yeah. That's a logical thing. Those who don't do anything wrong are guilty. They're guilty of something. You know, unfortunately, people can't understand that what they're doing is right. Because wrong has been done to somebody else. So do you have to panel? Yeah. What is it? Oh. Which you're gonna be here? Yeah. A year ago, John Gates moved out of Pauline Husband's quiet, yes. And, you know, this is that going on from council, I was working with the opinion, I said, there's 3 things in life I don't want to see. I said, you don't want to see him exhaust on the hot dogs. You don't want to see the blood and guts that go on that. And you don't want to see the back of your clothes. He got enough said. He said it all. That's it. Yeah. Absolutely appropriate. Street. Oh, okay. So they're constructively approved. Right? If I don't have a meeting, they get constructively approved.
You want me to call you when I get here?
Yeah.
What extension?
Three oh three one.
301? Talk to your office.
You don't get it today.
I know.
Park, yeah, don't rub it in.
Susan really wanted to have my first spot.
She's Stephanie.
So I should feel, I think we can probably watch this. Very hard to do that, right? It's awful.
So we're almost front from it, the council meeting.
Yeah, it's on Monday.
Well,
Thursday, yeah.
we'll wait this week. We'll wait meetings.
Yeah, but next week's a hot. I've been getting every night this week.
Oh, that, one, so not be here.
What is it, how many, finance?
Sunday, I'll see you, not tomorrow. Not seeing you.
What's tomorrow?
What is,
No way you get people.
that's, Pat is doing. I'll probably wait to use their time.
Supposed to be one to the French school, one of the centers of the school would be the Lions. We have something on that, land. I got, housing, I got 40 documents.
Oh, no.
You're gonna be here for more. First reason, I was saying, I don't pretty much. That's what you do when you're reading stuff. So this is what project is that? The first couple of them, this is too much, you know, we do a trail trip. And that's good. 10 years. And now I take 3 weeks, 4 weeks. You can go out, walk, you do it. The other side, walk, I don't know. And so now, this isn't a age range. Still have to. Also, just so you could. I get what's called dirty down, it's 3 bales. You know, that's 8 bales. Should be, I think it's 3. Should be. I don't know. That is even good, so. So that's a project. So, I could give the, put out streets pretty fast. So what that's all that. Actually, packages, all those packages, they make it.
Yeah, that's it, the whole.
Which trail, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, all the installs. They want to do all and so they call it that, and they go, how do you, how do I squash the line by this? What do you want with? That was only one way to do it. Put the hall in. You know what's funny, when restaurants, people call all the time, what you do? It's sold it, and every time it comes, it's like, oh, we use hazards. No, one truck stop, one do a structure that's less than seven, no. Yeah, so that's what this is. Getting rid of project, no, it's like it's, not with that, you're supposed to have a permit, and they have a truck under there, told them that. And then,
So what's the, how legal is the structure being required on the roads?
they pay.
Yeah, how legal is it? That's technically, the state property and parts.
No, the grass is the parks in the city.
So what's the responsibility?
Actually, a couple, few food trucks, a couple of stuff. One guy owns a drive. That's us. No, they're trucks. There. I've become distractions. You're taking them off, and then. What about the trash? It's fascinating though that it goes over to conservation and law tenants. And why they put conservation plans, or they put a flag, yeah, they're in a floodplain. And I go, how's the place of water? Building's not changing. They said, oh, I'm gonna put curbs in. They curbs in, I go, what's that? 10 gallons of water? You know how often the river reaches that point? It's happened 3 times since I've been here.
Sounds like it's case of people trying to get on private law.
The Shawshing River has flooded my markets since the 2 years down together. Yeah. But you know, they don't own strip malls, so guys won't showcase their own dads. The strip mall, they walk off with it. Yeah. She had a father. And, you know, it's funny, when Starbucks was opening, they keep like everything they said, oh, one week should silence, and I said, well, you want the dumpster, in a cage with landscape around, they want to see the landscape. And I said, you know, I remember what's inappropriate signage. I use your front of the building, with a double lot. You know, 40 sides, well, it's the same color, no, it's the same color. That's what you want. No, in the dumpsters, I just want
bunch of jacks around. So I go, I'm waiting. I can do that second day, every day for your customers. Oh, welcome to that, in a dumpster district. That's my biggest fear at times, is that there's a lot of visitors come and they have more food. And you get the giant buns. That's comes up the street. So it comes out, and it's just, walking across the street. He's so much fortunate. Yeah. It's all this is gonna be a.
Hello.
They have to have it good.
Okay, we're gonna have a
Yeah. So you're really gonna be an hour. And it's saying you, I think he's not changing, it's the other 2.5 years. I think yours expired, it says it's expired in a year. You know, I don't know. So was this the kind of? No, Fred took Frank's spot. Jose's associate. So we have Beatrice, and that's it. Fred's the whole about. Jose's the only, associate member is supposed to be followed a year. We've had over 6 people. And because the associate member rotated as a person, the chairman will always, other members would take turns, sit out. Or you can just start coming to the meeting and you go, follow. They only got to finish with 2 users. So technically it's 4 million. 3 years from the state law. But I feel like every time we put baby on. How much? 5. Okay. 2 classes. That's it. I don't know. Because He has to use it.
Same time, it's very weird, and we could do more.
I don't understand everything we do, but I can't remember last time we went twice, but we don't do it. Right. Who? You. Danny Bitter? Huh? Right. You took. No, this place. So that's. So state contracts. Right. So. Yeah, so it's the what they call it, the review. Maria, call him.
That's the one brother.
So we, is he an icon? Who went, Wendy? Yeah, I mean, I said show next week.
Okay.
It's more than that. And it is now a short paragraph. Yeah, that is, take the train out to Florida for the winter, back the vehicles out, because it's such good space to, it's too dark. Yeah.
Good evening and welcome to the Personnel Committee meeting. Why am I echoing? Can you ask Bill why am I echoing?
Yes.
Am I still echoing? I just muted the Zoom, but can I still be heard on Zoom? Okay. All right. Good evening and welcome to the Personnel Committee meeting. Today is Monday, October 7th. It is now 6:34 p.m. Voting members, to my right, I have Councilor Fidelina Santiago, and to my left, the Vice Chair of this committee, Councilor Wendy Luzon. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2022, this meeting of the Personnel Committee is being conducted both in person and via remote participation. A reminder that persons who would like to listen or view this meeting while in progress may either attend here in the City Council chambers or use any of our social media accounts. At this point, can you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, councilors, we don't have any minutes to approve, so we're going straight to new business. First item is item 460-24, the confirmation to reappoint to the Zoning Board of Appeals, Mr. Richard Rivera, brought to us by the mayor and our city attorney, Tim Hooten. Attorney Hooten, you have the floor.
Yes, Mr. Rivera is currently on the ZBA. He is looking for reappointment. As part of our yearly review, what we've done in my office is we've taken each of the boards. We've discovered who has been expired, who has been removed, new people to the board. So as part of that, we've placed this before the mayor for reappointment, and we bring it to you before. We have 2 members overall tonight, 2 members seeking reappointment and 2 new members looking for appointment. And I do have, I believe you do have Mr. Rivera's application, and he is here to answer any questions if you would like.
And I do want to state for the record If confirmed, the new expiration date for his appointment will be January 1st of 2027. Making sure I'm not missing anything because we didn't have that on the agenda. Mr. Rivera.
Hello, how you doing?
How are you?
Good.
How's it going? Tell us how your experience has been so far. I know you've been on this board for a while. You're doing an excellent job. For those at home watching that may not know you or are aware of your work on the board, we would like you to have the opportunity to.
So my name is Richard Rivera, 98 Andover Street, Lawrence, Massachusetts. I've been on the board for approximately 12 years. Been chair for about 4. Throughout my gender here and my experience, I've been here to help the city and the people that live in our city understand the process. And when they don't understand the process, we try to explain it to them and try and help them as much as we can.
Councilors, any questions or comments? Councilor Luzon.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And to you, Madam Chair, I just want to say thank you to Mr. Rivera, Richard Rivera, for the service. He's been serving for almost 12 years, as he mentioned. And thank you for doing that. We appreciate your service. Thank you.
I do want to say one thing for the people at home watching. I bumped into Mr. Rivera at one of our new establishments here at, in our downtown, the new Restaurant 11, and it gave me great pride as a counselor to hear you say how proud you were to see something that you worked on come to fruition the way that it was presented to the board, and you were very proud of it. I heard it in your voice, I saw your face, and it was really, really nice. It was a refresher of why we do what we do, and I just want to thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
All right, any other comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to send to the full council with favorable recommendation.
A motion has been made, properly seconded, discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
And the ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you very
We'll
much.
see you next Tuesday. Next item is item 461-24, the confirmation of the reappointment to the Zoning Board of Appeals of Anthony Coco, brought to us by Mayor DePena and Attorney Hooten. Attorney Hooten?
Like hooting and hollering.
You have the floor.
Just to explain what we're also doing, in case you're wondering why they are different dates. We try to structure this so this will never happen again. We won't have the members of the board expiring at the same time. So we have 3 years, but it's fluctuating. So although Mr. Rivera is appointed to 2027, we're asking that Mr. Coco be appointed to 2026. That way, we never lose the board at one time, so we keep the knowledge on. But Mr. Coco has his application in front of you, and I think who has certain, Mr. Coco.
Good morning.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Coco.
My name is Anthony Coco. I'm a Lawrence resident. I've lived in Lawrence all my life. I'm also a business owner in the city of Lawrence. This is my 3rd year on the zoning board. And I've been through some good things and bad things before I was on the zoning. So I like to try to help the community the best I can with new businesses coming in, whether it be, families or whatever, moving into the city. So I'd like to just, new businesses, I'd like to attract some new businesses to the city. So I'm hoping that you guys consider my reappointment, and I'm hoping I can do the city good.
I have to say, I just have to shout out our school. I see that you're a graduate of Good Lawrence Tech, so
Yes.
am I, so we have Reggie's in the house. Councilors, any questions or comments?
Yes, sir.
Councilor Santiago.
Thank you to serve our community and to keep doing an excellent job.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Madam
Councilor
Chair.
Luzon.
I'm going to repeat. Thank you, Mr. Coco, for your service. I'm also a business owner, and I understand that the process is sometimes a long process, but it's good at the end to see the results. Thank you for your services to the city of Lawrence.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. At this point, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to send to full council with favorable recommendation.
Motion has been made, properly seconded, in discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye, and the ayes have it. Mr. Coco, we'll see you next Tuesday.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, last item for new business, and we do have a tabled matter, counselors, that we need to untable after this. Item 462-24, the confirmation of the appointment to the Zoning Board of Appeals for Sheila Cabrera, brought to us by Mayor DePena, and of course, we have our city attorney, Tim Hooten.
So this would be a new person on the board. We've had Beatrice Tavares, who was a member of our board, who no longer is on the board. She expired on the 1st of January 2023. So if Ms. Cabrera is confirmed tonight, her term would be to 2026. And you see her resume in front of you, and it's right here. And yeah, I think you will like her background, and I think she would make a good member of the board.
Hi,
Hi.
how are you?
Hi, good. Hi.
Good.
Hi, my name is Sheila Cabrera. I am architect from Dominican Republic, and I have a lot of knowledge, and I think my experience can help like this community.
So, resident, I see here, Ms. Cabrera, you have experience in design, urban planning, community engagement, environmental impact assessment, project management, data analysis, and research.
Yes.
Is there, can you, just for the people watching at home, can you tell us a bit how I mean, to me it's pretty self-explanatory, but it's good to have this on the record. How your previous experience or your experience today will help you if you were to be confirmed as a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Okay. Before, when I worked to my country and I worked for the city hall, we need to advocate for the community. Yeah.
You're
Okay.
doing great.
Okay. We advocate for the community, and we need to see if we need to work together with them. And my experience with the planning design and urban department, we need to try to figure out ¿cómo se dice? Organize the city.
And are you aware of the responsibilities of the Zoning Board of Appeals? Are you aware of the responsibilities of the Zoning Board of Appeals?
¿Qué también dijo?
Do you know what the board does?
Oh, yeah. This board, yeah. I know we need to try to advocate for the community. We need to organize the city. We need to try to make Bern Lawrence, and we need to advocate for the city and the community.
Thank you. Just before I go to you, Councilor Luzon, Attorney Hooten, can you describe for the record and for people watching at home the responsibilities of the City of Lawrence's Zoning Board of Appeals?
Basically, what happens is that we have rules and regulations regarding building and structures, and what can be approved. So I always like to call it, you want to prevent the New Hampshire style of zoning, which I always describe as a house, a pig farm, and then a nuclear power plant next to each other. So you have zoning so that people that live in residential areas only have residential beside them. People that live in commercial areas only have commercial beside them. And also, let's take a look at what are we doing that's best for the community. You know, as I always said, it can't all be Dunkin' Donuts on every corner. We have to have businesses that help the city. So they review the city, review the proposed, what would it go, does it go good in that area? Is there parking? As, believe me, I do not have to tell this board, one of the main concerns in this city is parking. So is what they're doing appropriate? Is there enough parking? So it's enforcing the zoning regulation, and it's also the zoning also has the ability to review the decisions of the building inspector. So if the building inspector said, I don't like that, it's just not one person determining it. A whole board then gets to review it and say, you present your side, the building inspector will present their side, so that it gives the average person a way to seek a higher relief. But it controls the way the city looks. In other words, when you see a new building, you want it to be nice, and they enforce that. So, I know I'm not telling anything to business owners here, but, because we do, you want Lawrence to be beautiful. You want Lawrence to thrive. You want new businesses, but you want the right kind of businesses in the right locations. So that's what the function of the board is.
Thank you. Councilor Luzon?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Do you work as an architect in Dominican Republic?
Yes.
How?
For 7 years.
Can you name any project?
Okay, for my last work, when I work for the city hall, I need to design and build a park, a government institution, a street, and community place.
Okay, so I'm assuming that involves being familiar with the zoning and regulations of Dominican Republic.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to put it out there for the people that are listening. So as an architect, I know it was in Dominican Republic. She had some responsibilities with zoning and back there. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Attorney Hooton, I'm noticing, I don't know how I didn't notice this before, but we have her application, but we don't have her resume. And I'm also looking at, we have Michael coming up next as well, and I have his resumes included, and he's also would be a new appointee if.
That's correct.
Yep.
In my package right here, I do not see the resume, but
I have the resume.
You have it? You have it with you?
Yeah.
Can you?
Not with me, but I can send you to the email.
Thank
Okay. Okay. Any other questions or comments?
And this is for the attorney, Madam Chair, if I may, to you. So are they giving when they apply or they get recommended to serve in the board, are they given a piece of paper explaining their responsibilities or the discretion or the job of the board that they're going to serve? It looks like they don't get any.
they don't get what you would get is the planning director, in this case with the zoning board. The planning director would speak to them and tell them what their responsibilities would be, what's going on there. But there's no piece of paper that describes what the building does. Usually, for instance, at the health board, we give them an explanation of what the health board does, what they vote on, what they do, but we do not have set pieces, and that may be a thing we do in the future.
I think we do have the planning director here, so I think even last meeting, that's something that was brought up during the full council meeting. I think it's important to perhaps put something together on paper so they can have it, they can read it, review it, because if something, I mean, you can verbally describe the responsibilities, but you know, we're adults, we have 10,000 things going on in our lives, and you can forget easily what is discussed in person.
Madam
Counselor?
Chair,
Yep.
if I may, and perhaps, well, I'm going to ask a question. Do they meet with the chair of the board? Because it looks like they have good intention of serving, but on the other hand, it's like they're not getting enough information. And I know it's also their responsibility, I understand it completely, but for us to have a more professional and to give them the right information, I think it would be good to create a small package, as the Madam Chair just suggested, but also to have a meeting with the chair of the board to make sure they fully understand their responsibility.
I agree. That does not happen now, but I do believe that's a great idea.
Thank you. Counselors, it's really important to have the full documentation that we need in order to make the best recommendation we can to the full council. So I suggest we table this item until we receive your resume and then bring you back, and then we can send this up with our recommendation to the full council. So at this point, I will entertain a motion.
A motion to table?
Second.
Motion to table has been made, properly seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the ayes have it. Thank you so much. Counselors, can I have, I'm sorry. Counselors, can I have a motion to untable item 294-24, to approve the appointment of Michael Absamar, how do you properly pronounce? What is it? Yeah, I want to make sure. I can't hear.
Absamra, Michael
Absamra to the Zoning Board of Appeals with the term expiring in January 2026.
Motion to table.
Second?
Motion has been made, properly seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and the ayes have it. Okay, so we do have the application and the full resume for Michael. Michael, I did see here on your application that you went through the process of the Zoning Board of Appeals. So you, at least from the, I would say consumer side or the resident side, you know how that works. So can you talk a little bit about that and your background and how your background will help you if you were to be appointed onto this board?
Yeah, so I moved to Lawrence in 2018, and with that me and my brother did go in front of the zoning board previously. So I did see both sides of, having an opportunity to do something with a piece of property that I own and going through the requirements that the zoning board has. And, being a current resident here, I thought it'd be a good opportunity when I saw the opening to apply because I did go through the process. So, I think it'd be good to help others and the community, being on the board and giving back to Lawrence. So.
Thank you. Councilors, any questions or comments?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just,
Councilor Luzon.
So, no, it's good to know that you went through the process and you understand what our residents go through. And based on your knowledge and what I see in your estimate, I think it was going to be a great addition to the zoning board. And thank you for deciding to serve the city of Lawrence through the zoning board.
Any other questions or comments? Councilor Santiago.
Just I want to say thank you to serve to our city, and that's good to know. People, when they are prepared and they want to serve the community, they are welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Quick question for Richard. Richard, there is, you are the current chair, correct, of still? Can you come to the podium? Thank you. During the process of the Zoning Board of Appeals, there's definitely a financial aspect to the projects that you guys receive, correct?
So most of our members receive a stipend. I don't.
No. I don't mean the members. I mean when projects are presented to the board to review, is there a financial component to the package, like to the documentations? No, just okay.
That has nothing to do with our board.
Okay.
In that aspect.
I'm just asking because I see here that you have an extensive financial background, so I wanted to see if that would help in any way. Thank you.
I mean, there may be some financial, in the fact that they would have to prepare plans and stuff and pay certain employees to prepare things for the package. But
Okay, thank you.
There are fees that need to be brought in front of the city for them to apply to go in front of our board. But when it comes to numbers, in regards to money-wise, that doesn't play in our board. We just basically do the, what's in the city ordinance and whatever the petition is bringing in front of our board.
Thank you. Okay, counselors, I guess, I like that you've been through the process. I see that you're my constituent. You live in my district, so I represent you. So I definitely love that. Counselors, at this point, if there aren't any questions or comments, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to send to full council for further recommendation.
Motion has been made. Is there a second? Properly second in discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. The ayes have. So we'll see you next Tuesday. Thank you.
Councilors, if I may, as I told you before, this is an effort to fill all the boards. So what you are going to see, and I make a little promise to you today, is that I'm going to be seeing a lot of you in the next few months, and anybody that comes before me, I will make sure that they have met the chairman of the board, and I will make sure we give them a little something that they have a knowledge of what the board does in writing.
Thank you. And also just make sure that we have both the application and the resume, because I definitely do not want to delay the process, because I know how important it is to fill these boards.
It's important that you have the full package, I
Yeah.
understand that.
Yep, and, yeah, thank you. Thank you. At this point, councilors, we have no further business, so can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion's been made, probably second, and all those in favor say aye. Aye, and the ayes have it. Thank you so much.
I am, can I see you for a second?
I don't get this messy one from Central Cap, you know, I can afford tuition, man, no need to I gotta save my tuition of my kid, I can't even go apply for $1,000 a year. For a house.
Good evening and welcome to the Committee of the Whole. Today is Monday, October 7th. It is 7:08 in the evening. Today, voting members, we have Councilor Mark LaPlante, Councilor Wendy Luzon, Council President Giovanni Rodriguez, Councilor Gregory Del Rosario, Councilor Fidelina Santiago. We have Councilor Selena Reyes on Zoom and myself, Councilor Stephanie Infante as chair. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2022, this meeting of the Committee of the Whole is being conducted both in person and via remote participation. A reminder that persons who would like to listen or view this meeting while in progress may either attend here at the City Council chamber or use any of our social media accounts. At this point, can you please join me in the pledge?
United States of America.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Councilors, we don't have any minutes to approve, so we're going right into new business. We have item 402-23, the establishment of handicapped parking commission. And we do have our attorney, City Attorney Tim Houghton here to speak a bit more about this matter. Attorney, you have the floor.
So this came about as a result, it's almost, I believe, 2 years now, I hate to say that. We formed a committee. What we noticed, and I don't speak for you, but we noticed that your meetings tended to be taken up by a lot of traffic issues, particularly handicap parking, et cetera. So, and it also, the handicap person in our city also noticed that the people that were looking for this were complaining of the length of time it took. So we decided to take a look at it and see if we could do a more convenient and a more easy. We are not, let me state this first, not trying to take away power from anybody. All we're trying to do is make it more efficient for the city council. If the city council wants it, I'm not presenting this as my great idea. This is a way to assist the city council. So we're looking is to form a committee that would be outside of the city council. It would then handle, and originally we were going to have all traffic matters going to it, but I believe there'll be a friendly amendment, and what we're looking for now is just handicap items. And kind of like as a piecemeal, let's see if it works. Let's see if it really helps. We also made sure in this, I won't call it legislation, but in this proposal, that we did not want to take away all the power of the city council. So if the city council saw this board do something that they didn't like, they have the right, kind of as a court of appeal, to reverse it. So that's what we're looking here. This is basically to assist the city council so that any more of the, right now we'll just do handicap parking. If anybody applied for a handicap parking permit, or if we wanted to remove a handicap parking permit. The other thing we're trying to do is we're trying to form this in more of a license than an ordinance. Because as an ordinance, it's going to require a public hearing. And that's one of the things that ties this up, is that now you have to, and it increases the cost for the city. So we're looking for it to be like a license for 2 years. So the other thing that happens, when we first looked at this, we got a list, and I know that the council president was in on those meetings, of just one section, one district in, and we looked at all the handicap parking permits and signs. And I think we found, I believe it was 10% people didn't even live there anymore. We found people putting up their own signs that were not authorized by the city, and we found signs that were missing the people that needed them. So it clearly wasn't an effective and efficient city. And if you, that's just one district. If you take that over the whole city, you can imagine what's happening. So that's what we're doing here. It's more to assist people and to assist the city council, and look forward to any questions that you might have on this.
Thank you. Councilors, any questions or comments? Councilor Luzon.
So I'm assuming you check other cities that have the same. Would you mention some of them, and how effective is this in the other cities that you?
Well, if you look at the big cities, they have a whole department. Like the city of Boston has a whole department, a parking department, and so there's nothing that goes before the Boston City Council for.
Something similar to us, a city similar to us.
Haverhill, of that department. I think it was, I looked at Lowell, Haverhill, and I'm sorry that Lynn, okay, Lynn, yes, but we still, lawyer's trick, we borrowed a lot of the language from Lynn, we didn't steal it. So we just looked at what they had, and it really is, you know, they don't have to go through, the ordinance process is the real kicker in this. It just takes so long for something as small as this. You know, an ordinance, normally you think of something big that we're gonna change. I mean, just to have one little, you know, handicap space, is just, you know, to have that whole process, and it really doesn't help the person that needs it. So, yeah, we looked at these towns and cities and saw what they did. So that's what we have here is a culmination. We took from them what we thought were the best during the committee, and you know, there were, I believe there were, what, 8 members of the committee at that point. Members of the city, we opened it up to everybody to get their kind of input for it.
Question.
Councilor Santiago.
If it did item pass, what will happen with the handicap parking are already in the city?
Well, what we'd like to do is we would like to sunset the handicap parking placards in a period of 2 years. We did, if you notice, it says April 15th as when it would expire, because we talked to the city clerk, and obviously people would come back in to reapply. It doesn't cost them any money. But she has certain times of the year, like January 1st would be heck for her. Anywhere near the election time would be heck for her. And, you know, certain times of the year. So she thought that April 15th would be a great time. So what would happen is if someone truly, you know, if you had your paperwork, and Richard can talk to you what paperwork is required, you come back and you say, yes, I still live at 28 Stearns Street. I still need that plaque, and I would like it renewed for 2 years. So we want to sunset so that situation doesn't happen where Mildred Gomez lives at this house, and let's say that she was elderly and she moved to go live with her kids. Well, now you have a handicap parking space in front of it that no one may need. And parking is so precious in the city, we need as many parking spaces as we can get. So that's what we're trying to do, just to make it an easier process, because nobody wants to be a spy. We don't want to be going out and don't want neighbors saying, hey, you know, that person over there, they don't really need a handicap. We would rather have, well, they have to come back, they have to present their proof that they have it, and they can renew theirs for 2 years and then 2 years. I mean, we're not restricting how long it's for, but it gives the city a way to kind of control.
Councilor Del Rosario.
Thank you, through you, Chair. So, how are we going to let the enforcement know? They say the people did not show up to renewal, and the sign is still hanging there 3 years after that. How the enforcement know?
Well, that's what we did just now, much the same as we just did when we did the review, is that we call up the DPW and say, just remove the signs, and the signs are removed.
So you're telling me that it said April 15 passed and it's May, and this person did not command, so you're going to send an order to DPW to remove those signs that did not reapply?
Well, after they've got notice that, they will get notice that they need to reapply, but go ahead.
The way it's done in Boston, I had a long conversation with them, and it's an independent body. It's not a city council function. They will give a person like 60 days advance notice, telling them the parking lot's going to complete. If you're interested to apply, you have to do it 30 days beforehand, before expire. Then they will send another letter within 30 days and say, if you don't respond, we are removing the sign. So that due process there, they're going to be notified. So they have the responsibility to come back to us and say, yes, I want to continue.
Council President?
Thank you. Do you, Madam Chair? I have a couple of questions. So, essentially, when it comes to the appointees, I was reading through, and there's a function of for the different bodies to appoint somebody from police department, fire department,
Sure.
DPW, city council, the mayor. So, the appointing process is going to be in July of each year, right? According to the papers we have.
Yes, first Monday in July.
Yeah. So I think it will be more leaning with the perhaps the mayor and the city council, since that will change to be perhaps in January to appoint somebody during the month of January. So in that way, council and the mayor might appoint somebody in January. So that's the suggestions to make, or to take into consideration, since the city council might change and the mayor might change during that January. It doesn't have to wait until July for it to appoint somebody, and therefore the other departments, they also do it all together. So the question would be, are those members of that commission, like any other commission, going to come from the city council for
Yes.
confirmation?
Yes.
All right. That's one thing. Another thing that I would like to know is perhaps there is a possibility. Oh, can you explain to me the difference between a potential license and an ordinance? Because when it comes to enforcement, I don't think that you'll be able to enforce a fee on a license. If it is
I'm sorry, what fee?
I mean, when somebody violate the ordinance of a parking sign right now, they got a $300 fine.
Right. They are not ordinances in the city of Boston, they're not ordinances in Lynn, and they have done that. So we're trying to follow them that through a licensability, we would be able to ticket, and or if somebody parked on a handicap spot and was not handicapped. But they don't use the ordinance process. Lawrence has always used the ordinance process. We're trying to get away from that.
So, but when it comes to enforcement and the fee, it's an enforcement and a fee to an ordinance. So if the signs are not ordinance, how that work?
It would read like per the traffic commission. Its violation would be so and so, like any other, like the building commission has fines, etc. But I'm not positive. I have to work that through. That's something I just have. I can work on it, because could we ordinance the fines? Probably, but it would not be a violation of the ordinance. It would be a violation of the license.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So basically, what I'm trying to say is like something needs to be worked out.
Because it's kind of the same way. Like right now, if you park, there's no ordinance for parking, for a parking space, but you can get a ticket for.
Yeah, there is an ordinance for parking space.
There's an ordinance for the company to have the parking spaces, but there's no ordinance that says that you will get a ticket.
Yeah.
It doesn't say no parking in any place. It says there's meters on these following streets.
Well, maybe something that we can look into it.
Sure.
Because I mean, the contract might become an enforcement statute. Perhaps that's why they actually give a ticket.
Yeah, I will research that for us.
Yeah, I think that we need to research on that a little bit. just wanna make sure like we do it, the proper way. And we put the proper language in place so we can be safe. So when it comes to the household, by law, each household that apply to the handicap, they're entitled to one handicap signs per household.
They're not,
If they
okay,
have- Well, not entitled, but.
I just want to make
I
that,
know-
no one's entitled to,
No one's entitled, but I mean, by law, they actually have perhaps the rights to apply.
they have the right to apply. And the second point, I like to state, because when people come in and apply, handicap spot is not anybody's. It does not belong to one person, even if it's in front of your house. If I'm handicapped and I live in Lowell, and I park in front of your house, I have all the rights in the world to do that. It's a handicap spot for anybody. So too many people think that this is Mrs. Lopez's spot. It's not Mrs. Lopez's spot. It's a spot that it's convenient for Mrs. Lopez because it's in front of her house, but anybody can, by state law, all handicap spots are open to any handicap parker.
By the way, yes, we have discussed this several times before, and we asked for a memo from the office to actually post it on the website. Did that happen?
No.
So if it haven't happened, please, that statement that you said, that needs to be, I think that we asked for it before to be posted on the website so everybody can have access to it. If it haven't happened, let's make it.
No problem.
And another thing that I would like to ask, so handicap parkings, they are regulatory signs, not temporary. So how are we gonna work this out on the ward or within the commission voting that since handicap signs are not temporary signs, but the fact that we're doing a license, it becomes temporary?
It becomes temporary. It's a 2-year sign. It's a
Yeah,
two-year
so-
reviewable sign.
Something needs to be worked out on that, because I just look at that, at the difference between regulatory signs and the permanent signs.
Mm-hmm.
And there is difference between the law and between the MUTCD that regulates signs at the state level and also at the federal level. So that's something that is worth to look into it, because it could become a little bit of an issue that we need to deal with that eventually. That doesn't mean that it's not a solution, but I mean, it's
No,
it's a
I understand
potential
perfectly.
issue.
You want your belt
Yeah.
and suspenders.
Yeah, and another thing that I would like to know, so essentially, when it comes to the signs, the notification was clarified. So everybody gonna get a notification of 60 days, and then 30 days notification. What about the assistant that those handicapped people that might not able to fill out that application? Are they gonna have, what type of assistant they gonna have?
Well,
If
we're all,
there's any?
eventually, that's kind of in the weeds where I don't, but I'm assuming that it would be able to be done online, that you would be able to submit your information, because Richard would be able to tell better, like, what the information is, and is it easily scanned?
I believe it's going to be implemented online, so all the information will be there. And we also have a commission on disability. They will be helping out too. So there's resource and manpower for that.
Perfect. Another question that I would like to ask, and that's a common problem that we have now. A lot of people use handicap placards when they assist a handicapped person. Is that something that is going to be clarified for how we're going to deal with that stuff?
I don't know what you mean. So, the rule, but the rule is that you have to have the person in your car when you use a handicap placard. If somebody, an able-bodied person, puts the handicap placard up and parks there, and doesn't have the handicap person in there, subject to fines and ticketing.
So that means that if somebody's using a handicap placard and park in a place and perhaps leave it overnight, but the placard doesn't belong to the owner of the vehicle, that person is subject to get a $300 ticket?
Well, the owner of the vehicle, the placard doesn't go with the vehicle. So if I have a placard and I get Richard to drive me, I can put my placard on his car, as long as I'm in the car, because I'm the handicapped person. It it doesn't have like VIN number on it or anything like that, so I can, it's me that use it, it's particular to me, it's not particular. I mean, some cars do have the disabled license plate, but mostly it's all placards now.
I think I'm gonna try to clarify. My understanding, speaking with VNA, speaking with different nurses or PCA, the way when a person is disabled, the person may not drive, but she still be able to qualify for the placard. So when the nurse come, wherever, she could give that nurse her placard to park, you know, for her to get proper services.
Okay. So another thing that I would like to add and word out something within this ordinance, to creating this commission is to, sometimes there is people that get temporary placards based on the disability they have. They're going through the rehab and there's a year placard that R&B provide. So I think that if that person applies for a 2 years license to get a signs, that license perhaps specifically should be expiring with the potential applicants that also have a placard that is expiring. Does that make sense?
I understand what you're saying. I mean, for the most part, temporary, I know what you're saying. I understand. If I broke my knee tomorrow, I could get a temporary placard if I applied for the state. I don't know that we would be issuing handicap parking spots to those because the process takes probably longer than, you know, my 30, 60, 90 days for my knee to recover. But, you know, most people that apply for it, they've got a permanent disability. But I suppose that's something that could happen, but yeah. I think in that case, the commission would have to look at it and say, okay, it's kind of hard to, I mean, you're changing the parking of a particular place for something that's temporary. That doesn't seem like a good use of the city's time and effort, but.
Yeah, but I mean, it happened within the council. And that's something that, if we're gonna change something, I mean, we need to look into every aspect. Or at least if we're studying or researching the change of these, we need to look into that. Something else that I would like to add to the language, if that's gonna be within the council to be approved, is to have a section within the ordinance that anybody that covers the pictures of the temporary placard is subject to get a ticket. Kent? Because sometimes, I don't know if you know what you mean, that people just block it.
No, because when you get the placard, they give, the Department of Motor Vehicle give you the sticker to cover it. Yes, they do. My wife had plaques, so I know, yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I just don't
So,
know, this
you know.
placard that are over and I think.
Yeah, I don't know the law, but I know the experience through my wife. The Department of Vehicle give the plaque, then it give the sticker, so you have the option to cover it. Yeah.
I'm assuming that if that's the case, then it's legal.
Yeah.
Thank you. Councilor LaPlante, do you have any questions or concerns, comments?
A process question, so, and I don't have an answer for this. So, this is at the full council right now, and would we need to order a public hearing on this, or can we just vote on it simply when it's at the full council level?
I think we're creating an ordinance. I think we have to have a.
So we would need to order a public hearing at the full council level?
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure, thank you.
Thank you.
And I think quite frankly, you'd want to, where it affects the city.
Just one clarification.
Council President, you don't have the floor.
One clarification.
You do not have the floor at the moment.
One clarification, I have the floor.
You don't have the floor first.
I do have.
Hold on, I'll go right back to you for a second.
One clarification.
Councilor Reyes, do you have any questions or comments? I want to make sure that every councilor gets their questions and comments in first before we move forward.
Point of clarification.
Councilor Reyes? Councilor Reyes? All right. Go ahead, Council President.
On the clarification, parliamentary procedures, you proceed.
Sorry, Madam Chair, I had difficult, I don't have question right now. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Attorney Newton, the council plan just stated that this item is at the full council. And,
Well, it
and
wasn't the
with
full
it-
council, it was sent down to the committee of the whole.
So we don't have it at the full council.
I'm sorry?
It is not at the full council.
Well, it was sent to the council of the whole, so it's here now. Right now, I believe you have to send it back.
Yeah, I just want to clarify that it's, that the item is here and it is
It's
not.
before
at the
this
full
committee,
council.
yes, properly, before this committee.
Thank you. Attorney, I have a question. One thing, under section 3, it says that the TPC shall meet bi-monthly. Knowing how many requests the council currently gets for handicap parking, is a bi-monthly schedule enough to get through this process efficiently if this was to be approved by the full council?
Okay, and this is where I'm going to the language that's, I assume that bi-monthly is twice a month.
Okay. Is that what you, so we would have to?
It would be every 2 weeks, there would be a
Okay,
meeting.
because I read it
Not every 2
bi-monthly
months.
every 2 months, so that should be, if it's meant to be every 2 weeks, then that should be
Yeah,
definitely
my
clarified.
old days of an English major, I remember that bi-monthly and that it meant something different than it appeared to, but it was every what we mean is every 2 weeks.
Okay.
No,
Thank
you are correct. If it was meant, you couldn't do this every 2 months, because the purpose is to take this off your table and to get it done quickly and efficiently. We don't want to make the process longer. I mean, Richard will tell you, the people that talk to him all the time, to try to. In the back, I mean, all you have to do is look at your own agenda and we know.
Yeah. Councilor LaPlante.
Yeah, thank you. So just a little clarification. We're working off of the sheet that looks like this, and then Article 3 or, you just referenced paragraph 3?
Section 3, the first line.
I'm working off the public hearing notice.
So we, at the full council level, substituted to this, which is more streamlined. I just want to make sure everybody's reading off the correct version. So there is, the TPC reference is not in that. Of course, I believe the city attorney's explanation is correct, but I just want to make sure we're
That's correct.
at the right spot.
The word in the thing I'm working on is commission. I just interposed TPC and commission, but it says the commission shall meet on a bi-monthly, on a daily.
Or TPC, the TPC is not, I don't think, mentioned in this substituted amendment, the new version in front of us. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Councilor Luzon.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a question about salary. 'Cause it looks like, I have a question about salaries. And let me explain myself. So it looks like, and I'm checking other commissions in Boston, Somerville, it looks like that they meet after 5:30. And you have a representative from the police department, well, not overtime for some of the, something, or a stipend. So you have representatives from the police department, DPW, people that they get paid. Are the meetings are going to happen after work? Or are they going to be happening during work? Because it looks like that the responsibilities are we're going to add more responsibilities to some of these people that already work regular hours. And then I see there's 2 other people, one appointed by the mayor and one appointed by city council. So are we going to give them a stipend? Because it looks, for me, from my point of view, having this, and they're going to meet twice during a month, is that accurate?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's a lot of responsibilities for the people that are going to get appointed. Knowing that we already have issues with the boards, that we have, some of them are incomplete. And we know that we have difficulty in some of the boards in the city. So are the people from the city that are already employed, are they going to get a stipend? Are their job responsibilities are going to change? Or are we planning to give the stipends to the two people that are supposed to be appointed, one by the city council and by the mayor office or by the mayor?
I had, in this, we had no intention of paying anybody. There is nothing in this that says, again, once we form the board, there's nothing that says that they meet after 5 o'clock. If you look, these people could meet from 9 to
No,
5.
I'm saying that the ones that I check, not the boards that I check in Somerville, in Boston, they usually meet after 5:30.
Right, but they have a whole budget.
Yeah.
They're a whole department. I don't know how to phrase this, but this is kind of a work in progress. We're looking to see if it works, see how it goes, see if it works for this city with the results of the city council is the arbiter, and they'll say, hey, this is helping us, or, you know what, we don't like the way this is going, we're gonna cancel this. So that, I can't give you all the answers because I really don't know them. We're just trying to set it up and see, does this work for the city? And, you know, who gets appointed? Can they meet during the day? I mean, the people we named, it's because it's a part of their job anyways. The parking person, it's a part of their job. We have a police officer right now that looks at all the handicap parking. He's not getting paid any more money. The fire department's already getting paid for it. You know, the DPW person's already getting paid for it. So that's, we kind of envision that these people already work for the city. Again, when I say the city council could appoint someone, and I'm not suggesting this, I'm just saying, I mean, you could appoint a member of the city council. You can appoint anybody you want.
That was my interpretation of that. I thought it was going to be a council
It can
member.
be.
Okay.
Again, I'm not, as my kids would say, I'm not the boss of you. You can do what you like, whoever you wish to appoint. It's up to you. You're the city council.
Through you, Madam Chair, if I may, my concern is how sustainable this board is going to be. Hopefully, well, not if, maybe we can add to this document that they're going to be meeting during regular hours. But if not, it looks like that a stipend after 5:30 is going to be a point of conversation because it's more responsibility to the responsibilities that they already have. It's just to put it out there.
I understood. Again, that may be how you change it in the future, may want to, but in the beginning, we weren't envisioning any stipend. We weren't envisioning having any money. Matter of fact, the only money we ever talked about was maybe for a secretary to receive.
So we're going to, this is contemplating a new position?
Or a part-time position.
A part-time, okay.
And it could be somebody's employee. What we need is someone that assembles, I mean, someone does it now. It could be someone in the city clerk's office, but we're trying to get rid of all the information. But someone has to receive the application, someone has to put together the meeting package and that type. So there has to be someone, but we have to have a committee in order to form that.
So I'd like to add to that. As the city indicated, we don't have to do a public hearing, which means we are going to save money. So the money we save, we could pay a part-time worker to help with the implementation process.
If it transitions to a licensure
Correct.
process.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. But I mean, just in order for this to be sustainable, I think it's missing language, just to make sure that when it begins, if it gets approved by the council, we don't have loops, especially when it comes to spending more money and stipend. Because it looks like it's going to add, if it happens after 4:30, it's going to add more responsibility to the people that are already working in the city.
You know, I'm not suggesting, when we had the meetings, we had pretty much representatives from everybody named here, and we met during the day. And we didn't have any problem getting.
I understand, because I'm assuming it happens during work hours. And it's just a simple, something to take into consideration. Sure. But I mean, if you add more responsibility to my job, I'm gonna ask for more for a stipend or something. That's the way that I see it. So just to put it out there, time to make sure that it happens between work hours. That way we don't get into spending more money. And I understand the clerk, the person that you mentioned, that it may be a necessity to make this commission more sustainable.
Madam Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Just before I get to you, Councilor Del Rosario, Attorney, when you were answering to Councilor Luzon, you mentioned something about how we already have city employees getting paid to check the parking and traffic and stuff like that. My concern with this, or that statement, is we're having issues with people enforcing as it is. How are we going to ensure that this will be enforced with the personnel that's supposed to be part of this committee when that's already becoming a bigger issue by the day in our community?
I am unaware that there's a problem enforcing the handicap parking at this point.
Okay.
I know that we,
Well, I was talking in general, so maybe this doesn't apply for handicap, okay, all right. Councilor Del Rosario.
Thank you, through you, Madam Chair. Thinking of what Councilor Luzon said, but going back to the licensing board, right? We have firefighters coming in. We have a police officer coming in. Are they getting paid overtime when they come in for those meetings?
no, but much the same as, again, excuse me, but currently, when you do a handicap parking, you have a police officer that gets paid regular that does the inspection on it. We have a firefighter, in certain circuits, look at it. You have the DPW look at it. Anytime I get something from the city council that involves parking or one-way streets or any of that, I send it out to they're not part of a committee, but I send it out to the people who are responsible for it, and they give me a report, the city engineer, and they tell me whether they think it's appropriate, not appropriate. So they are not paid overtime. This is not taken after their hours. They do it as part of their job.
Thank you.
I mean, I've been seeing, again, going back to a licensing board where inspection services here on the licensing board, and tons of employees sit here. So now it makes me wonder, I mean, if they get an extra pay just to sit down, and it's after work, and it's, all the meetings are after works, not during working hours, because then we've been pulling people out of what they're supposed to do on a daily basis to run a meeting. So how do we run a city, basically? But I'm assuming the meetings will be afterwards, like all the meetings can be on working
Again, I'm
hours.
not making that.
Yeah, I mean, I know, but thank you.
I mean, a solution, it could be held on Tuesdays. We are open until 7 o'clock? 7 o'clock. Could be held every other Tuesday before the city council meeting or something. And I also was under the impression that some individuals or representatives of departments do get paid overtime. So can we get like a clarification on that? Can you look into that and see if
What are they getting paid overtime for?
when they attend these meetings
Well, if
after?
they're night meetings, again, if I'm saying if it's during the normal working hour, I mean, currently, if you, again, I could be wrong. When you order information about a new road or closing parking on one side of the road, no one's getting paid overtime to research all that. The police department's sending someone else, fire department's sending someone else, parking department, the DPW, they're all sending someone out to check that out. Nobody's submitting a bill for overtime. That's part of their job. That's what they do for the city.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Any other questions or comments? Councilor Luzon.
And I understand that what you explained, that they are doing something that is already part of the job. This is going to be new. That's why I'm asking, and some of my colleagues have the same concern.
And I'm with you, Council. I think this is kind of a flowing thing. We're going to see what works best for the city. Am I going to tell you that the meetings are definitely going to be during the daytime? You know, this committee might get together and in 3 months come back here and say, we can't meet during the day. It has to be at night. And maybe they come back and say, hey, you know what, I want $50 a meeting. Again, I'm not going to say that. I'm just saying our intention today is not that. But again, we just want it to work for the city, whatever the city council wants.
Thank you. Thank you,
Council
Madam
President.
Chair.
Essentially, there is one thing that we're missing, and we need to research. Yes, when it's after work, people don't necessarily get overtime, but they do comp time. They do get comp time. At least one case that I know of that.
Some people do, for instance, I'm not getting comp time right now. I'm here after work. Not everybody gets comp time.
I agree 100%. Some people do. Some people that make those deals to come to these boards, they do get comp time. And another thing that we need to evaluate and take a look at it is that this whole commission came out of perhaps easing the city council's agenda. I think it will be worth it to compare the amount of handicap we have every year and how much, when it comes to timing and money, how much that means. Since I become the council president, something that we do is that we post all the handicaps together in one publication, which save a tremendous amount of money. I think it will be worth to find out and do a feasibility study, perhaps not a feasibility, but just to compare numbers to numbers, how much that might be when it comes to easing the agenda, and how much like that truly means when it comes to timing. And if that's the case, perhaps whether or not the council wanted to do that. Because it could be a situation that the city council might want to bring that later on, and that will become another set of timing that perhaps could be avoided. I'm just saying we should check into timing on the city council agenda, but also what's that going to mean when it comes to one representative from the fire department, one representative from the police department, a representative from the council, a representative from the city, from the mayor's office, and also a representative from the DPW. So it's 5 different people that now going to have to meet just to reduce time on the city council's agenda. That's on time. We don't have many. Lately has been perhaps not as many. At the beginning of the year it was a little bit more, but that's something that to look into it, to make a comparison.
So just to be clear, I can get you the numbers of how many these are before you, but quite frankly, as you know, you could have an agenda item, one agenda item that could take 3.5 hours, or an agenda item that takes 2 seconds. I would have no way of knowing how long that particular agenda item took, but I can tell you there were 10 handicaps on January 17th. There were 22 handicaps on for March 17th. I can tell you the number. I can't tell you how much of your night was used on that, because to do that I would have to go back and look at the meeting and put a stopwatch on.
I mean, we all know like how much of a time a handicap will take.
Okay, I'll give you raw numbers is what I can do.
Yeah.
Any other, Councilor LaPlante?
Sure, I just want to we keep talking about the mayor's appointee. There is no mayor's appointee on section 1. That was the original. This is the amended document, of course. There is no amendment. Just so we're all clear on what the commission is as amended. Commission consists of the chief of police.
The committee, a member of the Committee on Disabilities replaced the mayor's, a resident who was a member of the Committee on Disabilities.
Thank you for it.
DPW is designee, chief of police is designee, parking director is designee, a member of the Committee on the Disabilities, and a member appointed by the city council, could be city council or somebody that we appoint. So I just want to make sure we're clear on that.
Yes, that's
And the other thing that we're talking an awful lot, and it's well stated, and I embrace the discussion. We need to listen and need to talk about the stuff we're talking about, but we also have the other side, and that's the folks who are disabled. And we need to talk about clarity for them. We need to talk about how we're able to get them a much quicker result. You know, there were times, and I think unless you were in this membership, you may remember how difficult it was before this council showed up to get a quorum, how we had to cancel meetings, and that the people were waiting and waiting and waiting to get handicap parking, and they weren't able to get it. And so this is a kind of an opportunity here to really look at and deal with and try to provide assistance to those individuals in our disabled community who are requesting this, and they don't have to be waiting. And Mr. Rodriguez can speak better than I can because he represents the disabled communities, but I just think that this is, while it's important that we talk about this process, it's also important to know that we're trying to serve a population here. And it's a population that when it comes before the city council, it's almost unanimous. We almost always vote in favor of it. It's rare that we say, I can't remember us ever saying, nope, we're not voting for it. The only time that would happen is if it came before the police department and there was a driveway, for example, and the police department says we don't recommend that, then this council usually will follow what the police department recommends. That element will likely remain unchanged before a commission. So I just wanted to make sure that those thoughts were considered by this membership as we discussed. And if there's nothing else, we can certainly continue to talk about this, but I do want to put a motion on the floor and we can still talk about it. I'd like to make a motion that we send this up to the full council with a recommendation to order a public hearing.
Motion has been made. Is there a
Second.
second? Properly seconded. Discussion. Council President.
So, in case that something next in the favor happen at the full council, we don't know. But just looking into the process that we have currently, we have an ordinance process. Well, you mentioned that other cities and towns, they have licensing process. There is a way to change the process that we currently have in case this doesn't go through, or for any particular reason. There is a way that we can change the process instead of having an ordinance for handicap parking, that we have the license, and that way we solve the problem of the publication, because the publication is the one that's
Slows
only
most
the
of it.
publication is the one, only thing that's gonna change.
It costs money, and yes, exactly. I can look into that.
Yeah, because I mean, if we look at both process, right now, one process is adding more people that, as Councilor Rosario mentioned, they have all the function in the city. And the other process change is the ordinance process, which become a license. So if the city council process, which basically is similar, go to committee, come back with a recommendation, based on the police observations. If that process is, instead of going to an ordinance process, going straight to a licensing process, and we adopt an ordinance that perhaps change the time period of the license to 2 years or similar, whatever is recommended, that improve the city council process as well.
Sure. Again, I'm here is to assist you, whatever the council wants to do. That's the way I want to go. I'm just.
Yeah, I just want to make sure, like, perhaps, I mean, in case something like this doesn't go through or something happen, like we have a plan B that is changing the process we have to make it as a license, as you mentioned, because it sounds like a good idea.
I'll have my office research that simultaneously as we go through this.
All right, no problem.
Thank you. All right, any last comment, last question? Seeing none, we do need to do a roll call for this since Councilor Reyes is on Zoom. So we'll start off, Councilor LaPlante.
Yes.
Councilor Luzon.
Yes.
Councilor Santiago.
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez.
Yes.
Councilor Reyes.
Yes.
And the chair votes in the affirmative.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you. All right, councilors, at this point, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion has been made, properly seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes have it. Thank you so much, councilors.